This is a good question. Our lives have changed. The sun is shining. We're giving it all the love that we possibly can. We're taking moments to notice things. Vavoom that you need for the day. Am I going to give too much away? I am totally learning as I go. We just have too much to do. Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we are in the garden room. I thought this afternoon would sit down with a cup of coffee. We've been here 9 weeks today, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to answer some of your questions. I've got some questions on my laptop here. They're just bits and pieces that I've seen come through in comments and on Instagram, and also just a few friends have been messaging me bits and pieces as well, and I thought, well, that would be a good question to answer. So let's sit back and just have a cozy chat today. I'm going to pop my drink down. Let me just have a very quick sip. What has made the biggest difference already? I was going to say having a working kitchen, because we spent 2 to 3 weeks without a working kitchen, but also the garden. So much has happened in the garden, and I am due to record a full garden update. You've seen snippets of the garden, but I want to go back and show what the garden looked like on the day that we moved in, and all of the work that we have done to get it to this stage. And I also want to record like our garden plan so that you've got a bit more of an idea about what we're doing. But that has made such a big difference already, because we can see out of the windows now. You could not see, when we moved in, you could not see out of this garden room window or the window in the kitchen. So yeah, 2, kitchen and the garden. Another great question. What does living in an old cottage feel like compared to living in the modern apartment? I think that's the best question so far. I don't know who sent that one in. I don't know if it's on Instagram or on YouTube, but that is a great question. Well, they call it cottage life, and I think that is absolutely right. Cottage life is very different to modern life that we were living. Everything in the apartment was done. We had no stress, no worries. We had a beautiful home. Every room was decorated. There was heating all the time, hot water all the time. You could go anywhere and pick up any fixtures and fittings. We'd got ourselves into a real rhythm in the apartment. It was easy. It was easy. And as I said to GB, our lives have changed. No longer do we like rest and chill out all over the weekend, because we just have too much to do. Whether it be small jobs or bigger jobs, living in an older home, but particularly one that does, this was empty for a long time, and then it was rented before that. This cottage has needed a lot of love, and we're giving it all the love that we possibly can. Life has changed because no longer do we have that flexibility of just collapsing at the weekend. we think, well, what can we get done? Even if it's a small job, can we get that job done? So when I have time, I think, is there a little job that I can be doing that isn't going to take a lot of energy? Does another wall need a clean? I mean, a lot of the walls do still in here. What's livable? What's not livable? The apartment life was very routine based. Now I look at time in a different way. I think, is there a little job that can be done? And every little job is a little job closer. Fixing catches on the cupboard doors in the kitchen, GB did one day. It's been a really niggly job because we've not been able to close the cupboard doors, and he got round to doing it. So in the apartment we had nothing like that. Everything was neat and organised and ready for day-to-day life. Here you have to really think about your time, money. You have to also think about priority of what needs doing. So that's one sense. But cottage life is so incredibly special. It's what we've been dreaming of, and it's a slower way of life. It's weird, I know I say it's a slower way of life, yet we have all of these projects on the go. But what I mean by that is the garden slows us down. We're able to go in the garden, and I'm able to talk to GB about what I've noticed, that the roses are budding now and they're due to bloom, and the climbing hydrangea is also about to come out into flower. You know, we're taking moments to notice things here, just always knowing that there is a job to do, but in a slow paced kind of way. I'll tell you one big thing that's really made a difference to my life is having the washing line. I used to do my washing inside the apartment, and we almost had like an inside outside home, lots of house plants and bringing the outside in. And I used to have an indoor washing line, which I loved, but there's nothing like having an outdoor washing line. But as I said to GB, you'll know what the weather's been like recently in England if you live in this country. I washed all the bed sheets yesterday or the day before, and I spent all day going out. You'll know if you live in the UK, going out, are the heavens going to open? No, we're fine, back in. 2 minutes later, everything's drenched. I mean, we've had all the seasons in one day here. And I came in with this wet washing the other day, and I said to GB, whose stupid idea was it to move to have a washing line outside? But on a serious note, I absolutely love it. There's nothing like your washing, hanging on a washing line, seeing the neighbour's cat. You know, there's nothing more cottagey than your neighbour's cat sitting on the doorstep whilst you're gardening, watching you, planting, trying to get in to the cottage, being around you whilst you're watering the plants, or sitting on the doormat watching you, or coming up to the kitchen window and looking through your kitchen window to see if you're about. Or the other day I popped out, and Willow, next door's cat, had seen that I went out. She sat on the doorstep as I was going out, and she waited until I got back. I just feel like Willow knows me. It is strange, isn't it, that cats get to know your personality. I'm not even a cat person, but not in a horrible way. I love animals. You know what I mean? There's that saying, I'm not a dog person, I'm not a cat person. We don't have pets. I love them and appreciate them. And you'll know I absolutely love my sister's dog, and I wouldn't want any harm to any pets. We just don't have them ourselves. But I really have got this connection with Willow next door. It's ever so bizarre. But cottage life is slower paced, it's more wholesome, It's wonderfully historic, and I almost feel like I've got this new attitude as well to how we live. So in the apartment, it was always very neat and tidy. And because the apartment was small, we've always lived quite small, deliberately lived small. Because the apartment was quite small, I liked it clear and free of stuff. But now that we're here, I'm a bit more relaxed about, the vibe and how things look. Like I've got seedlings just on my windowsills. I would not have done that in the apartment. Well, first thing is I didn't have a garden, but I just wouldn't have wanted them out on the side. Where here, it's just, that looks very cottagey. That's just my phrase for everything. This is very cottagey. Another subscriber commented recently on one of the videos and said, are you able to cook with things on your side, on our counters? I have plenty of room to cook, and obviously on the camera you only see certain angles of certain things. There was not a lot of room to cook in the apartment, but as you know, if you're a long-standing viewer, you'll know how I got round it. I used to move that plank of wood over the side of the counters, give myself more workspace. Well, this kitchen is probably double the size of where we were. I'm just looking to see, is it double the size? Yeah, I think it is, around double the size. We've got plenty of workspace, but I like things being out. I love my hen being on the counter so that my eggs are easy to reach. I love all my cutlery being out because it's just easy to grab, and my utensils in my nanny's milk urn just being out because that's what my mum used to do. I did not do any of that in the apartment. It was all away in the drawers, and the surfaces were clear other than like kitchen plants and herbs and that sort of thing. Cottage life is definitely different to what we had before, but we both can't stop smiling, so there's got to be something good about it. Where do I source my homeware bits and pieces from? I'm sure that most of you know the answer to this, but I love thrifting. I love going to charity shops and antiques markets and antique stalls, car boot sales, although I've only done one this year just because it's very difficult to find time. I love vintage. I like to source really good quality items, but not at expensive prices. This cup that I'm holding is beautiful. It's a vintage handmade coffee cup. I sourced this in a charity shop and I think it was £2. I bought 2 of them. It's stamped. Even Chris the plumber said today, wow, that is a beautiful, beautiful coffee cup. So I like to spend time looking for secondhand things that are really, of quality, good quality. And the tones that I'm using are probably more earth tones. I've got a little bit more colour than I used to have over in the apartment. Over in the apartment, I liked quite blacks and woods and stainless steel, where here I'm more ceramics and stoneware and old pieces, but of earth tones, like autumn earth tones. Almost like a heritage palette. I think that's probably what we'll go with. But you'll notice that when I show you things that I found out and about or from Vinted, you'll see that the colour tones are all of the same. The terracotta pots behind me are also in the colourway, and I just want to keep it neutral but with a bit more variety and texture than what I had in the apartment. And again, I think that's probably because of space, where in the apartment I liked it very, very neutral so that the place seems bigger, I suppose. But yes, charity shops, Vinted, antiques markets, We have a few locally. Hitchin's a great place to potter around. There are a few charity shops like really local to us, but there are other charity shops that I like to go to, Bishop Stortford and Saffron Walden, Ware, Hertford, that are local to us. So yeah, we've got quite the variety around us, I would say. My full outfit was all secondhand. I love secondhand shopping. My cardigan was £3 or £4 on Vinted. My white blouse was £4 from a charity shop, and my dungaree dress was £4.50 from a charity shop. I don't really follow fashion trends anymore. I just like what I like, and this is pure wool, and I love that it's beautiful green, and it's got the autumn tones that I want. Although it's autumn tones, it would look lovely in the autumn, but it matches when I'm out gardening, and I just feel like it's very cottagey. Everything is just very cottagey. Are there any decor trends that you want to avoid? Yes, I want to avoid anything that is cheaply made, won't last, that's high-end fashion, you know, high-end on trend, that you know is going to be on trend this year and then out of trend next year. I don't want the china that just, you know, breaks really easily. Do you know what I mean? Like, this feels, it feels of quality, where if I went into some fast trending homeware stores, you know, the ones that I mean, you can find good things in them, don't get me wrong, you can, and I do love going in them, but I'm really careful with what I would pick up in there. So things mainly that I want for the cottage are traditional, cottage core, and of good quality. We're moving into gardening questions now. Let me just see what the first question is. What are our plans for the garden? Am I going to give too much away if I tell you what our plans are? Because that is the next video. Let me give a summary and intrigue your minds so that you want to see the true plans, because I'm going to go into a lot of detail in the next video all about the garden. But let me say, it's definitely going to be traditional, cottage garden themed, and British English planting. Plants that are known for here and that have longevity within this area. Lupins and foxgloves. Things that are known for cottage English country gardens. I will also say that over this last few weeks, I have changed my mind slightly on colour scheme. So I was going to work with like autumnal tones, a bit like in the cottage. I was going to do the same sort of thing outside and have those tones outside as well. But instead I have changed my mind, because I've been looking in garden centres. I love going to a garden centre, and my sister and I spent a whole day visiting many garden centres and buying all the plants. Because of this, because of going into all of these garden centres, it's changed my mind, because I've fallen in love with plants. And I was told this: you're going to fall in love with plants and you're going to want to buy them all. So now it is very much like just muted tones, pastels, or dark, rich colours. I don't want anything too bright, not like the bright pinks and the bright purples, but soft blues, loving the mist, forget-me-nots, hellebores, muted tones. I will probably pick on the yellow of the door as well. Hopefully that's given you enough of an idea in your mind of what we're going to do, but also so that you are keen to watch the next episode. Right, more gardening questions. This is a good question. Are you confident with gardening, or are you learning as you go? I am totally learning as I go. I thank my lucky stars that I have my sister Jane, who is a very keen gardener. She became a keen gardener after our mum passed away quite a few years ago now. we wanted to rescue the plants from her garden. So we took as many plants as we possibly could. I remember loading up the cars and putting them in buckets and all sorts, and sitting at the front of Jane's house, the one she had previous to now, planting what Mum had in her garden. You know, obviously in shock about what happened because it was all very sudden, but also trying to save as much of Mum's presence as we possibly could because she spent a lot of time in the garden. And Jane suddenly took on a love of gardening, and she gardens all year round, and she's very, very knowledgeable. We've managed to save some of Mum's plants, and I will tell you that I actually have some of Mum's plants here already. Jane came round a few weeks ago. She dropped her car actually to do a local run. Dropped her car off, and she opened her boot and she said, "These are all for you. They are plants that you love from her garden that Mum used to have in hers." So I'll share all of that with you in the next video. But I am definitely learning as I go. So I thank my lucky stars for Jane and for Mrs. P, because she's been here and been able to show me and guide me with the roses that were completely covering the window, and the climbing hydrangea, and just general like garden and maintenance jobs like the drain and the guttering, and you know, looking after the whooping willow tree that I needed to get rid of some of the dead branches. And then I've also got Lauren. Lauren's very, very knowledgeable. I can send her a very quick text message. I sent her one the other day. Say, I've been given some sweet peas by a lovely neighbour. And I know it's just so cottagey, isn't it? The neighbours popping around with plants. I love it. Completely different way of life. A neighbour's been around with some sweet peas, and I know she loves sweet peas. What do I do with them? I had no idea. So she shared all her tips with me. I do not know what I'm doing. I watched my mum. I did watch my mum, and I did used to go out in the garden with Mum, but it doesn't mean that I know plants. But I do know little tips. Like one big tip that my mum had is that for some plants, like there's the Canterbury bells, the blue, the white or pink bells. When she was given those, she used to immediately take them into two because you can separate them really easily. So of course I've been to pick up some bells because my mum had bells in her garden. She had quite a cottagey garden, and the first thing I did was separated them. And GB came out and said, "Wow, there's a lot of plants here, love." And I said, "Well, yes, because I had one plant and now I've got two." So I do feel like I'm learning as I go. I don't know the names of things, and lots of you have been helping me as well. So thank you very much for that. It's really, if you ever have advice or tips, do pop them within the comments, or as I say, over on Instagram. I am thinking of, so you know that there's a renovation playlist. There's also spring in the cottage playlist, because there's some videos that aren't renovation based, but they're here. So if you like just renovation, I'm trying to keep those separate. But if you like just general cottage life, that's sort of spring in the cottage, or summer in the cottage, like the seasons. And then I'm thinking of creating a garden series. So there'd be like English country garden or English cottage garden, and creating a series just for the garden that I will put also in the seasons rather than renovation, because outside's not really renovation, is it? It's like maintenance and transforming a garden space. So I am thinking of doing a garden playlist. So I'm hoping that there are things that you can dip in and out of depending on what you like. I know some of you just like chit chat. Some of you have been here for a very long time and you like chit chat. Some of you are here just because you're interested in a renovation from the start to the finish. And some of you are here because you like the garden section, and some of you are here just because you like it all. So it's hard to work out playlists on YouTube, but I'm learning as I go with that, as well as the garden. Let me say, what would your dream garden look like? Again, I don't want to give too much away, but dreamy wise in my mind, think high levels cottage core overload. I'm visioning this. Real traditional cottage plants, and me going out on a sunny day with my straw sun hat on and my basket and collecting flowers in my basket, coming in, being able to create bouquets just like Mrs. P has done, being able to take my drink into, I say my drink, like a lemonade or coffee, into my garden, maybe a glass of wine in the evening, especially if I'm working hard, into the garden, enjoying that space. And just knowing that I've, put a lot of hard work and effort into creating a beautiful space. And in my mind, I'm picturing plants that are gently moving, like the bells, that you just see moving really beautifully in the breeze. That's my dream cottage, like garden summary. Moving into some personal questions now. I hope to answer these to like the best of my knowledge. Let's see what's been asked about my life in general. The first question is, what made you start to film cottage life? I love creating stories, and I'm a very sociable person. I say I'm very sociable. I am very sociable unless it's like big groups. I struggle with big groups, but I'm a sociable, personable person, hopefully warm and welcoming and kind and friendly. That's the type of person I am. Alongside that, I love creativity and storytelling. I've always loved photography and creating like beautiful scenery or pictures on Instagram. I've loved my Instagram page for allowing me a space where I can edit and put something on that's recording little, moments of my life. And I have been on YouTube for a while. I did have a break last year because of my working professional world. I was needed basically to go back into education as an advisor, and my time was very much spent around doing that. I think I've got a parcel here. Hang on 1 second, I'll be back. Here he comes. Probably something from Vinted. I'll share with you what I picked up in another episode. So going back to that question of storytelling and the creativity, I decided to create YouTube videos a while ago about slow and seasonal living, and I very much enjoyed the process of the creation of doing something from start to finish, creating a story from snippets of my day-to-day life, and then editing them and sharing them. And it's the part about the sharing them that some people struggle to understand. Well, why would you share that? Why would you share your videos? And there's a few reasons. The one that shocked me the most was, in a good way, I did not realize that I would make friends and build a community around me by creating videos. So many of you get in touch every single week, you watch every week, you message me, and we've become friends. Some of you comment on one another's posts, which builds the community even stronger, and I can see the support and love there. The reason what's good as a creator for somebody like me who's not doing it for, this is not my job, I do this for the love of it, is that for somebody like me, being able to push out a video gives me a loose deadline on getting a video edited. So I'm recording all of this footage that would just stay unedited probably for the rest of our lives. But because I have built this community with you, I am able to record our journey for you to see, because I feel like we've got this connection, but also it gives me that opportunity to record almost that, well, it is all of the key things that are happening in the cottage. It's providing history for this home that sometimes leaks into personal life, but loosely into personal life. But it allows me that flexibility of storytelling, creativity, and giving this home the love that it deserves by me sharing the cottage's story with you. Hopefully, I've answered that okay. Next question is, do I prefer peaceful days or busy days? I struggle to wake up in the morning and not have something planned. We have the phrase, GB and I have always loved being at home, but we very much have the phrase, let's get out to get back. I think the purpose, like at the weekend, the purpose of getting up, going out and coming back gives you vitality in life. Do you know what I mean? It gives you that oomph that you need, as well as the cups of coffee that you have in the coffee shop, but it gives you that little bit of vavoom that you need for the day. The times that I struggle is when I've said to myself, I'm not going out today, but I don't really know what I'm going to do. You know, days that, and we all have them, meh days where you don't want to go out, but you don't want to do anything either. They're the days that I think we all struggle with. Are they peaceful days? For me, they're not peaceful days. I struggle to do nothing. I like to do something, whether it be, you know, chilling out, watching Gardener's World, or sewing, or researching plants. I like to be doing something in the background on a peaceful day. But I actually do not enjoy days that I just sort of stay in my pajamas all day. That is unless I have planned the day. I love a planned peaceful day. Not an unexpected peaceful day. They don't work for me because I just get lost in the not knowing what to do. But if I know, for example, if GB goes away or something, if he goes away to work and it's the weekend, I may say to myself, I am going to take today to myself. I will have planned it the day before. I would know exactly what I'm doing. I probably would go to the gym, something like that, just to get out, to get back. But then I would have, you know, cozy TV lined up and probably a few little projects on the go. But I've known that that is going to be my peaceful day. Most of my days are very, very busy. They always have been. My mum used to say, you're always on to the next thing, Cher. You're always on to the next thing. You're thinking about one thing, but then you're straight on to the next thing. And I think creative minds work like that. I struggle to have a free afternoon without something in the diary that needs doing. So, do I prefer peaceful or busy days? I think I'm going to say I prefer busy days because I feel more relaxed when I'm doing something. Because when I'm not doing something, I'm constantly thinking, what should I be doing to relax? Does anybody else get like that? I can't relax until everything's done, and nothing's ever done. So I wish I could. I do relax when I go to my sister's. We actually both take time out and we do relax. We'll go for a walk and we'll spend the evening relaxing. And that is probably the only time that I really do properly switch off. She looks after me and I sleep really well, and it's like a little retreat. What has cottage life taught you so far? I love slow living. I know in my last question I said I like busy days. A busy day doesn't mean a hectic, chaotic day. It just means that you have things planned in your day. But I can do that in a slow living way. I appreciate nature. I appreciate the outside and the changes and the seasons and the weather. And I think all those things ground you. So I've always lived like that. But being here in the cottage has taught me to really notice and really appreciate what we have. That the cottage is still standing from 1850. That I'm able to walk through this cottage. How many other people have lived in this cottage and taken the washing to the washing line? It's taught me that we will be the owners of this cottage for a period of time. Life is short, and what we do here in this home is our forever, whilst we own the cottage. And when you think of it a bit like that this cottage has been here for so long, and that we are just a couple who will be in it for X amount of years. How many people have been before us, and how many people will be after us? We are just a moment in time. I try not to get overly worried or concerned about anything that's going on. Like I keep saying, I'm not worried about how long the renovation's going to take. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that we're in it. And each day we're making a little bit of progress. This is not a fast renovation in no means. It is a renovation that we can manage around everything else that we have and do. But when you think you are in your home for such a short period of time, it just makes you realise just how precious life is, and to look out of the window and notice the colours of the leaves changing, etc., etc. And I know it may sound daft to some when you really think about those words. It does make you look at your day differently. GB always says, these are our best days. I think I've said that to you before. We could be doing anything, having a cup of coffee or just passing me through the hallway. These are our best days.